Pull up a stool and pour yourself a pint as you're about to join three intrepid drinkers, Kevin, Justin, and Mark, as they embark on another Beertastic voyage.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beertastic Voyage. My name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, Mark.
How's it going?
Oh, just fantastic. I'm glad you
Hi, Tim.
just completely shit all
Hi.
over the opening.
Tim's
that we
over there.
used to do.
It's what I do now.
Yes, Tim's there. He's over there somewhere.
We're here.
Yes.
Yes, so we are here today back at the Brewers Collective. Not quite the same place we were last time, but it's the same building in a much larger and nicer space,
Yes.
which, I mean, just comes from the fact that
It is
there's so much more
grown.
room.
It has grown. You can hear the echo
Oh,
in it because it's tremendous.
It is.
it's huge.
Bat cave.
Yes, it's yeah, we're looking a little different now. A little more room to stretch out and have a good time.
Thank you for having us back. We've been looking forward to this.
Oh, and us too. It's great to have you guys back here again. Awesome.
It's been almost a year to the day.
Somehow.
Is it really almost to the day?
Pretty close.
It's like 13 months, I want to say.
yeah.
not- that's
Is it
not
really?
bad.
I thought we
Yeah,
were
I
March
thought
last
it
time.
I thought it was February.
I
but
knew it
maybe
was
I'm
cold
wrong.
last time I was here, too, so that's about
Yeah.
all I can judge on days.
We went from cold to cold. Cold. It sounds like
Yeah,
a year.
There's still snow on the ground.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's happened over the last year and how you've grown and why you've grown, etc. Definitely break the microphone while you're
Oh
doing
yeah,
it too.
sorry. Yeah,
That's
I'm
okay.
really good like that. It's moving. Okay. Yeah. So last time I think we filmed I think a couple of weeks before our grand opening.
Yeah.
We had just done our soft opening. I think maybe even the weekend before we had that new brewery look and smell and all that. And here we are again, sort of in a new brewery once again. We haven't had our official grand opening in the new space. But yeah, no, it's been this fantastic Beertastic, if you will, voyage this past year.
I feel dirty
I'm gonna keep doing that.
I love and hate that you did that. I love and hate that you did that.
Yeah, no. So I guess well, let's catch up first from what occurred in the past year. So first we on April 15th of last year we had our grand opening, and we invited all our friends. We did a couple of radio ads, and we were like hopefully we'll get a good turnout, and it felt a lot like when you invite someone to a party and everybody comes and they bring all their friends.
Right.
So we hosted over 500 people here.
Wow.
Yeah, in the old location,
space,
the other
yeah.
space, which was 1,200 square feet of awesome. But luckily the weather held and we were
You were
able
able
to
to
push
open up the
outside.
door,
Say,
yeah.
Fire Marshal,
Yeah.
you did not hear any of that.
No. We had our special permit for the
There's only
record.
23 people inside.
There was
Right?
only
Yeah.
at any
That's
given
right.
time there was only 23 people inside.
Absolutely.
There was a line. There was a whole thing. No, we cut a ribbon. We had town officials came.
Politicians here. It's
Politicians
crazy.
were here. Yeah, we
How drunk did the politicians get?
it's funny. Angie Carpenter, town of Islip, she had a couple of beers with us. Awesome. Senator Phil Boyle came, and when we were doing the ribbon cutting ceremony, everybody sort of took a few minutes to talk, and he joked that he was the only Irishman that doesn't actually drink, so he wasn't drinking anything. I did give him a nice, bottle of water, and Phil was very happy. No, we reached out to a bunch of local politicians because beer's a good business, especially for the island, and it's very popular, and a lot of people from a lot of different walks really, as we know, really enjoy craft beer. So we put it out there that we were doing this little brewery, doing a grand opening. We even went to the governor, emailed Governor Cuomo, and he sent us the most beautiful letter back and sent one of his aides to the grand opening. So we had
nice.
it was wonderful. We had about
that's
4 or
cool.
5 different politicians from the different from local and state and whatnot. They cut the ribbon with us, and we had kick-ass band playing. It was just one of those like magical moments. I remember we looked back on the security feed and just kind of relived the day a little bit afterwards because it was such a whirlwind. I've never poured so many beers in my life. It was absolutely incredible and humbling. But then after that, everything just started moving really fast. I mean, we rode off the tails of that right into Craft Beer Week last year, and that was hugely successful and fun. Looking forward to this year's Craft Beer Week as well. And then, it was a wonderful summer. We've started to build our own culture here. We have lots of live music acts. We have a rotating concert series that comes through with all live original music. That's called the Lady Beast Collective.
Right, yeah. I
that's
see those posts all the time.
Oh, absolutely, and
They're coming tonight.
they're coming tonight. Yeah, that's right. They come the third Saturday of every month, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and they do all original music, and then we host like an open mic night afterwards. So we get the most incredible musicians that are just sitting at the bar, and then they'll come in and sing a song and borrow a guitar. We had a comedian come in and do a few minutes, and you know, a lot of spoken word, a lot of poetry, all kinds of stuff like that. But you know, and that's just one facet. You know, we get rock bands and all kinds of different stuff. We host. You know, a lot of the homebrew clubs do a lot of socials. We've been doing a number of private events, and like we had a first birthday party, we had a 30th birthday party, we had a dog's first birthday party. You know, it really something for everyone at TBC.
Oh, actually,
Dog's birthday.
my wife and I have been discussing like we're looking for a place to have our son's first birthday party, like you know, in November. So
Okay, I know a place.
We'll have to talk. Yeah, we'll have
you
to
let
talk
me know.
about that.
There you go.
No, actually, the first birthday parties have been extremely popular because I mean, let's face it, the first birthday party is really a party for the adults.
Oh
so,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
like, hey,
kids
we
not
kept
gonna
them
remember.
alive.
That's right.
Let's have a drink.
Let's have a drink. Yeah.
We're still in the game.
That's right. Yeah, no, so yeah, that was absolutely fantastic, and we got really really settled in. We got the brewery looking just how we wanted it, and then we had this crazy idea of building another brewery. So actually, it just the cards sort of everything aligned, and we had this amazing opportunity to take over a space 4 times the size in our same building.
Yeah,
so,
you know, it's great in here. And I was also, you know, because I'm the guy that's on the social media all the time, I was like watching the posts and like how quickly Stretch like
Yes.
turned the space around, like from the empty picture to like
He-
having it all roughed out and everything. Like it happened fast.
Yeah, at first I thought it was hot. I thought you guys were taking pictures of Hopwood space, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because it was competing at the same time. And then when he told me it was a new space, I'm like, "Already?"
Yeah, it was a little
Great.
fast. I mean, it was scary. It was so far outside our comfort zone, but it was really too good of an opportunity to pass up. And you know, you got to go big or go home sometimes. And our space was fantastic. It was very cozy. You know, we were happy there, but we also realized that it was not a place where we would really be able to grow too much. You know,
Right.
we'd probably have like a couple years there until we'd have to really start to look into another space. So when this, you know, came up, we just couldn't
Jumped right on it.
jump right on it. Yeah, so now we're 4,400 square feet. The tasting room alone is 2,000 square feet, and then the rest is all brewery. So, and this will be now our forever brewery, and we love being in Bayshore. The community of Bayshore has been fantastic. The local businesses and the Chamber of Commerce, we feel really welcome here. And there's some more breweries popping up around here, like you mentioned, Hopwinds. They're going to be in our building as well. You know, so we'll look forward to that. It'll be a real destination now.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
definitely
always
be
the nice
good.
part.
Absolutely.
And then not too far away, Fire Island's going to be opening up
Yes,
too. And
yeah, Fire Island's
and
going to be
with
sharing space with Great South Bay. Yeah, and that's we were there for Long Island Craft Beer Week. You guys were there too last week, and brewing it with the Fire Island system. It's just fantastic.
Brewing is a loose term.
Well, brewing. I mean, drinking.
we're watching Dan
bonding.
brew. We're just drinking beer.
Yeah, we actually commented before that Mark and I brewed far more than Tim did.
Yeah, I didn't-
Like,
I
not
didn't-
even close.
You guys actually
I
added
watched.
the additions. Yeah,
I watched.
I watched too.
You know, I pushed the hops down
Supervised.
in the
Supervised.
Oh,
in the hop back.
The hot back. I had never
did
seen that thing
something.
before. I think it was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's a big one. We have a small one here. That was a familiar process.
Yeah, but no, and it was we crossed off a lot of bucket item lists last year too. Like we were able to do like our first bottle release. We
Yeah,
released,
I came down for that.
I
and,
know you did,
I specifically, my brother's fiance is from Ohio, so
okay.
she's constantly making fun of the Long Island accent.
coffee talk.
Yeah, so when
yeah.
we took a trip out there in August for a surprise birthday party for my mom, I brought her one of those bottles just because, you know.
Oh, that's
I mean,
perfect.
I love the coffee. Like
Yeah.
it's a great beer, but like
It's a great label, too.
just having it spelled out,
Yes.
and everything. So
I don't think we'll
it's
ever be
like,
able to thank-
Sarah, this is for you.
This is for
I think
you.
I still
Oh,
have
is
one
it?
of those in my,
Oh,
in my
really?
tiny fridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see how that aged.
I drank it. I definitely
I drank
drank
one of
mine.
them.
Oh yeah.
I drank one of them, but I think I still have one sitting around.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, well, coffee is, it was Linda Richmond. Well, you know, that was the inspiration, Coffee Talk from SNL.
Oh yeah, no,
Discuss.
I love that beer. It was great.
Oh, look at that.
Oh yeah,
Oh, there she
nice.
is, yeah, in
journal.
her
That's
glory,
great.
yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's been like this crazy. Like I just cannot believe that it's been a year where we are now. Like there's so much to come. Like I feel like we're really just getting started. You know, the brew house is still the same. We're in a 3-barrel house. You know, we have a couple of new tanks that we recently purchased that we're going to be doing some fun small batch.
Yeah, Tim was talking about making an IPA and then dry hopping with different varieties.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gotta
that'll
diversify.
be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be let us be more agile with what we brew. Without expanding the system yet, we will hopefully soon.
You
one day
definitely
get a
have the
bigger
room back
system.
there, so-
Yeah, we got the room to go, so it's to grow rather. So it'll be good. But yeah, in the meantime, we buy what works, and that little split batch system is going to work well with our smaller cold room to allow us to have more beers on tap.
And you added taps here, too.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're up
We
to
doubled.
24 taps now.
Yep,
Jesus,
24
we
taps.
doubled. Back at the old place, when we were deciding how many taps we have, a couple were like, oh, let's do 6 taps, let's do 8, and they ended up with 12, and we were kind of shitting our pants, like, are we going to be able to do 12
How are we
beers?
going to keep 12 beers on?
And now I'm really not shitting my pants. I'm really shitting my pants, though. It's double, it's 24, but between the split batches, the one-offs, and that kind of stuff, we've been keeping it on. It's populating now. It was been the transition with the construction was rough. I mean, you're out of the game for like 2-3 months, and it's been brewing a lot to catch up.
I was going to ask how
Populating.
many days a week you guys brew right now.
It's hard to say because I'm in catch-up mode. But back
Right.
there, on the other side, it was once a week, and I think we can maintain that here. Maybe twice if I have to. But we have the people to do it, and the drive to do it. So even if it's twice a week, it'll be it's manageable. It's manageable. We got our system tightened down and really just worked out properly, so we can. It's as easy as it can be for our system, which is good. So hopefully once or twice a week. But I mean, I want to brew more. It means we're selling more beer. So
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and we did bring in some guest taps also. A lot of our friends in the industry, like especially when we first made the move over here and we hadn't moved the brew house and we had a little bit of some downtime. We reached out and everyone's just been so gracious to let us showcase their beer as well, because it wouldn't be much of a collective if we didn't support and try to showcase other brewers on the island, especially our friends and we always try to have a good balanced board now, because you do have people who are just super into lagers, so and we don't, and lagering takes quite a bit of time, and we have made a couple lagers now. We made a Pilsner and a lager.
Yeah.
But
Pilsner and a Helles.
yes.
Nice.
Yeah, and they came out really good for the record. But and they're so incredibly popular. Everyone talks a big game about everyone loves IPA now. I would disagree. After a year of doing this, I mean, I would say that there's still a great amount of people that are very comfortable in the lager and Pilsner land. They want something that's approachable and not too crazy flavor-wise, something nice and balanced. Although we have absolutely converted a lot of our lager lovers into loving some very interesting and unique ales. Yeah, because we try to, we always, just like we said last time, we're always trying to make approachable styles, to showcase a range of styles, and introduce people that maybe have never had a rye beer, or we had a beer made with bagels, called bagel.
Oh yeah,
Vision.
I'm sorry that I wasn't able to attend that event. That looked like
That
a
was
lot
a
of
good
fun.
one.
That was
that was
fun.
a fun
That was
event.
something different.
Yeah, that was the Nothing Wasted charity
Right.
event that we did. Yeah.
Justin and I got a chance to go over to that.
Did you?
It was funny
Nice.
because we're walking in like, ratty ass,
Oh.
sweats and
I was
Pants?
sweatshirts and
Yeah.
pants.
I'm wearing this I have on right now, and then I'm looking around, and even Frank is wearing like a button-down shirt. I'm like, holy shit, I fucked up when Frank's wearing a button-down shirt. I'm like,
I came in with paint all over my pants and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's a beer event. This is no problem. Oh,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
no,
it's
it's
a
not.
fancy Marriott.
Yeah, it was fancy, and
A little fancy.
it was so cool. Like it
At least one pinky up.
people love that beer too. Like people those Long Islanders, what do they love? They love their bagels,
Oh, yeah.
So they're like, wait a second, Long Island bagels and a Long Island beer.
That's fun.
We're gonna be making that again for sure.
I think
not
so.
not to mention the fact that the way the name was conceived. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Bagel Vision.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah, remind us again what that one was.
I was milling the grains for it on our crappy little mill, and I was doing it sort of outside. And it was like raining, storming, and the week before there was a storm, and it blew someone's cable line, like cable TV line, like into the front of our garage door. So I'm working around it, trying to. It was like, I don't know. It was like a cable vision. I'm thinking maybe I had a couple beers in me. Cable vision, bagels. I like this, like bagel vision, man. It became bagel vision up there.
What kind of bagel was it in again? Did you guys use the everything ones? Was that you?
No, I didn't
No,
do everything.
Southern
We did
Raisins?
mostly rye and pumpernickel.
Oh, okay.
I request Kevin and Alicia. I asked them, I'm like, please, I want to make I was going to make a Russian style kvass, but it didn't pan out.
Oh
So
yeah,
but I
that would
did.
have been interesting with bagels.
It would have been. It would have. So I wanted to do a kvass, but it wasn't going to work the way I wanted to. I didn't think it did, so it would anyway. So I mostly rye. It was 20 pounds of bagels, mostly rye, some pumpernickel, and a couple of wheat because they didn't have. There's not enough pumpernickel and rye bagels, I
Not the
guess.
most popular
to go
bagel,
around.
which is why I wanted
Right.
Even though they're the best bagel.
And then it was a rye malt base, and we soured it. I soured it with yogurt. That's my favorite new trick that I like
Okay.
doing is using plain ass like store bought, no fat Greek yogurt or stuff with live cultures in it.
I haven't
take
done
it down.
the yogurt sour. I usually get the probiotic capsules and just like pop
Yeah,
those
yeah,
open.
it's like the same kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
But it works. It works pretty well.
Same science going on.
I remember the label you had for Bagel Vision. It had that really nice like.
Well, it
80s
was like the 1980s like
Yeah,
Cablevision.
Exactly,
logo.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what
had
it
the
was.
very futuristic grid going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
This is
And the-
technology of the future,
The
man.
vector graphics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The Venetian blind effect going through the letters, you know.
We've been like completely obsessed by like vaporwave, which is like
Jesus.
so we don't really go into it too
Vaporwave is
much.
dead.
Vaporwave is dead. That's right. No, it's like just like this like great
The aesthetic.
throwback to that aesthetic, you know.
Right.
Like you walk through like the Sunvet Mall, man. That is vaporwave. Like it's like a dying
music,
mall.
the
Like
tinny
it's like
mall
it looks
music playing.
exactly like your childhood. Like anyone looking to reclaim their childhood, go take a walk through the Sunvet Mall and go to Toys R Us.
You know
first before
about
they
like
close.
the Twitter account, right?
Yeah, I was
Oh,
just
it's
gonna
the
say.
best.
Oh,
Oh,
I
you
do.
got it.
Yeah. Oh, it's like what
It's
dreams
hysterical.
are made out of.
That is so funny.
Oh my god, we have to. We get the pizza every time we go.
Oh, you gotta.
So we
AG
do like
Cafe,
we'll
you
work
gotta.
here. We'll pull like 20 hours between like 2 days here. Like we'll do because more really. We end up doing like 12-hour shifts whenever we're working here.
Yeah.
And so like we're just completely exhausted on a Sunday morning. It's just like all you want to do is roll out of bed and stroll through the Sunvet Mall and go get the Aegean pizza with all the garlic.
Look through shitty old records at the
Yes.
whatever store that is, and,
Yeah, they have
and
this
then
like
go have
crazy
the
like
garlic
thrift
knot
store,
pie.
but that's another
That's
time.
great.
It's awesome.
It's so much
awesome.
fun. I don't know why it gives me such joy, but it really does. I don't know.
You guys need to do a beer, like either name it
Vaporwave
Vaporwave or Sunvet or something.
Oh,
Yeah, we should
absolutely.
call it Sunvet.
That is. That,
It would just
that
be a
could
Stroh's
thing.
a Stroh's copy.
There you go.
Yes. We'll try to get the Twitter account too.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure you could pull that off.
Well, there's
fairly
that
easily.
computer store in there, which
Oh my God, I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
Holy
it's
shit.
amazing. So like we were looking at the chips and the different cards. They're from 2000.
There's like ATI AGP cards there. It's a little tacky, but it's
Yeah.
old hardware, literally from the last century.
Yeah.
From the last century. And
That
I'm
was
looking
all
at
hot
it,
when I was in college. Like, oh, I got an
Yeah.
AGP video
Yeah,
card
right,
now.
right.
The band.
and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is, I can't, what do they close the store and just leave all their inventory? They're open. They're
Yeah.
still open. Sarah was there a couple
I
weeks ago.
needed a
The fucking
fan.
guys
When
back there
I
fixing all
first moved
computers.
into my apartment in Ronkonkoma, I needed a fan. My fan died on my computer, and I'm like, I'm just driving around, and I saw on the outside, a little sign.
Yeah, yeah.
So you go in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yes, it was crazy.
So weird. It like, bought the fan and left.
Yeah.
I assumed that place was closed.
I did too. When
Time
I,
machine.
when I
Like, let me
saw
go
it.
back to 2007, get my parts here. It's not
even older.
really. Well, I didn't. Well, it's funny. Like we always would go on like a Sunday morning, and they don't have hours on Sunday morning. So we thought like we made this fantastic tale in our head.
I thought it was
that
abandoned
They
and-
just left at the
Right.
dying mall. They've given up the ghost. They've left, and then I ended up went there on like a Saturday. My kid had like a birthday party at that bowling alley, and I go there. I'm walking through, and I'm like,
bowling?
dear.
Oh,
no, the
Across the
like
way.
the
Oh,
Bolero
okay,
one.
okay.
That's
I
used
was-
to
I
go
thought
by
like in
Sunrise.
the
Yeah.
whole second.
no
I was
bowling
like,
alley in there.
That'd be amazing. Oh my god. But and then they're open. I'm like, honey.
She's
they're
taking
open.
pictures.
I took a
She's
picture.
like,
I'm
the guy's
like,
back there
"He's
fixing
there.
computers.
It's a real
and
thing.
he is. I wonder if he fixes like old stuff. Like
He
if-
does, yeah.
For I don't know, maybe old people or businesses.
We
that don't
guys,
have
it
a
was
lot of
old.
money.
There was like 5 or 6 like elderly people in there.
If you
with
if you
their
bring it in,
computers,
it has anything Windows 7 or later, they just won't even look
Right,
at it.
no,
Like,
that's-
I'm sorry.
I can't do
yeah.
anything
Sorry, that
for
was
you.
This
before our
newfangled
it's
the
after our
opposite
time.
cut off. You know,
Windows
you gotta be
3.
prior.
Oh man, I can work that.
I'm
thing
sorry.
Like
Is it still supported by Microsoft? Then I can't look at it.
It's like the Cuba of computers, like down in Cuba they just have 1950s cars. That's all they have from America. So,
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I know you guys mentioned like homebrew stuff. One of my favorite things is how much you guys are part of the homebrew community. Can you talk a little bit about the Chinook competition that you guys did and that I was there for, and also the beer that you brewed from it, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. You want to talk about the competition,
Yeah,
the
no.
whole event?
Definitely. Yeah, so what we were a homebrew club first, I mean, before we were anything, we came together and we were all about it. That's where it all began for us. So we always, when we made this jump, it was always the thing that we were going to always celebrate the homebrew clubs, because I don't know about you guys, I mean, obviously you guys too, but like when I go to like a beer festival, the first table I go to
It's
are,
very
are
effervescent.
the homebrew tables. I go right to LIBME and
Oh yeah, because that's where you
Yeah.
find the really interesting
the really
stuff.
interesting stuff, the cutting edge and all that. But it's true, and we wanted to celebrate that. So we had the idea of doing this Chinook beer competition. So what we did was we took, we actually have Chinook on contract in Oregon, so we have access to literal hundreds of pounds of Chinook. So we brought some whole leaf Chinook in, a couple pounds, and then we divvied it up to, I think, about 18 different home brewers. And the idea was everybody would use the same hop, but create a completely unique style of beer with that hop. So then we invited all the clubs to come down and and show off their beers. We had the tent set up outside and all that, and then we had our skeleton army, our mug club, come through and judge the beers with us, and then we picked a winner. And I believe the winner was the Saison.
Yes. Yeah, we have not brewed it
which
yet.
we have not brewed
okay.
yet.
Yeah, we're
the
looking
Saison,
to.
thank you. The Saison was just coming out of season right at that time,
Right.
it's actually coming up this spring. We're going to be brewing it with
Definitely.
Chris from Barrier Brewing Company, who works at Barrier, I believe.
Yeah, so Homebrewers and Hand Grenades member. Yeah, I
Yes.
remember talking to him afterwards, and I was like, "Hey, can I get an interview with you?" And he's like, "I am way too drunk to talk to."
He was. He had a good time that night.
He did,
Yeah.
and that he was. I remember it was a lemongrass saison. I mean, I'm not a big lemongrass guy. I don't like lemon, but the way that he balanced that
so
flavor
That was very
with
good.
the saison yeast character was
Yes.
incredible.
It was
really
unexpected.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it was hard to get through all 16 beers, because I'm trying to also sort of run the show, so I'm
Right.
like, I can't be completely hammered taking people's money. That won't work. No, it was absolutely. We did it on a Sunday, right?
It was on a Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, it was a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday fun day.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember. I came to that, and my wife and I came to the grand opening, and that was a lot of fun. She really enjoyed it. In fact, she had so much to drink, which is not that much for her, that we had to.
So much to drink is like 2 beers for a glass.
Yeah,
The Brewers Collective have never seen her that drunk.
yeah, that's a little bit of an inside joke. She drank what I don't know what you gave her. It was some kind of apple jack or something.
No, it was the raspberry cider. Like,
Oh yeah, we
way-
used to have
way
a big
back.
football Sunday at my house, and she had some of the raspberry cider, and she was like, she had, I don't know, maybe she had a half glass of it. She was hammered. She goes, "Oh my God, the cats have never seen me this drunk." Like that's how drunk she was.
And then she passed out in the recliner.
Yeah, unconscious. The recliner was great. So now we use it. We use that reference as many times as we can. But my wife had a great time, and she loved the Loot, the Gruit, and she's not a standard fair beer person. So this is kind of the joint for her.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The wacky off stuff we do, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Tim, you poured actually the very last bottle of our Burning Violet Beauregard.
So good.
Yeah,
It's so good. Yeah, definitely. This is delicious. Tell me more about it.
So it's Justin and I are big fans of rye, and this is the first beer where we started putting like a lot of rye. There's like 40% rye in the grist in this.
Nice.
And then I have this 1 gallon glass jug of just like the sour culture that I've kept going. That started off with the Rosalaire blend, the Melange blend, and then I think
that thing's sentient by now, man.
every sour beer that I opened for like a period of like 8 to 10 months or something. All the dregs.
I call it the iceberg because it's got like just pellicle, just like sitting on top of it.
That's funny.
Yeah,
It's delicious.
And so we brewed 5 gallons, and I poured half a gallon of that jug in, and like that was the primary. Like I didn't add yeast or anything to it.
Nice.
So it got a little too tart between that and the 8 pounds of blueberries.
We had to re-enamel our teeth.
So we
Wonderful.
That's good, right?
Thank you. We rebrewed the same base beer again and just did a ferment with Brett C. and then blended them. And the reason why it was a little overcarbonated is because we didn't let it sit. Like we blended it and then we bottled it.
Right.
And also
Then
added additional
fermentation,
priming sugar.
Yeah.
Not really accounting for the residual sugar from the Brett primary ferment.
Right. Yeah. And
And then
Brett's
also
always
on
hungry,
bottling,
so.
we added ancho and habanero tinctures to it.
Nice,
So it's the
nice.
little heat.
I get that
it's
little bit on the
got.
back.
Yeah.
A little
Yep.
slow burn in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Wow, that's lovely.
I'm sad that this is the last bottle of it.
Yeah, really.
I'm so honored you guys would bring the last bottle.
Yeah, thank
here.
you. Thank
We
you.
technically have there are
There are three
three
more.
more, but we're hoping that they get shipped to the second round of NHC.
All right.
That's exciting.
Yeah, we'll
And if they
see.
don't, we're going to angrily smash them outside. So this will be the last time that we drink this.
And actually, the mulberry sour beer that I've got here, this is the rest of the blender beer that didn't go into this, that I then added mulberries to. So that's there for
Were those
later.
mulberries procured from your neighbor's tree?
Yes.
Excellent.
Nice.
But they fell on my property, so they're mine.
Yeah, he built a
Local
drop
Long
net.
Island
He
mulberries.
built a drop net underneath the branches and
Yeah,
caught
that's a good
it.
idea.
That's so smart.
That's
And
good.
I've since
I'll let it
grown a
ground.
tree from one of them, so
Nice.
I'll be planting
You
that.
gave me one of those trees, and now the person that bought my house has that tree. Not tree. What did you give me? You gave me a sprig of something. The raspberries or something. I can't remember. It wasn't the mulberries, though. I wish. That doesn't matter. It's not mine anymore. But so maybe let's grab a beer off the board, and you
Yeah,
can tell us all about it.
definitely.
I'm gonna randomly pick one
Okay.
called the Duke.
Okay. That's
Oh, you're just gonna jump right in, all right?
Yeah.
all right.
So, Mark and I recently were honored to attend the Craft
Cares.
Oh God, I always want to say Craft Classic. Different C's. Craft Cares Brew Day at Great South Bay, and Tim had brought some of this one called the Duke. It is a bourbon barrel aged imperial stout with cacao nibs, toasted coconut, and vanilla, and you taste all of those things. So I have had this before, and I think Kevin had a little sample earlier, but I want to know everyone to know a little bit more about this beer because it's pretty amazing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So this is actually the brainchild of Stretch, Mike Stetson. He and I'm gonna take a little credit because for the longest time, and I think I talked about it on the podcast last time, I sort of live on the big, dark, and boozy side of beer.
Yeah.
So I rallied hard for us to have a barrel program and to have a barrel-aged beer to call our own. So Stretch made it happen. We actually got some Buffalo Trace bourbon barrels, because that's how we roll. And we wanted to. Yeah, so we did. It's a big old imperial stout that we painstakingly toasted. I think with 30 pounds of coconut.
She did it.
Yeah, I did it myself. Yeah, and it was like.
Oh, that's right. You told me there was like 4 hours twice, basically.
Yes.
Oh my God! It took forever because you didn't. It's important when you're toasting coconut. You don't want to burn the coconut because who wants burny notes in their beer when you're adding that? So it had to be toasted just right.
Bland to burnt in like 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Wow.
and it does, especially and if you want to do it with any sort of without it taking forever in a day, you do have to do it at somewhat of a high heat. So I just kept constantly flipping it until it was like perfectly toasted, all 30 pounds of it. So we have that, and then we have, I think these are Ugandan vanilla beans.
Yeah.
And,
the Madagascar crop apparently suffered. And
Yeah,
vanilla beans
Madagascars are
Okay.
There's a
unattainable
whole
now.
vanilla bean world.
Which we didn't know.
know
We made Ella, which I don't know if you guys had it.
We did.
Ella,
I had Ella.
That was
yeah,
Madagascar
Ella was
vanilla.
magical, and I had the Madagascar, but we tried to get them again, and the price.
I think that was the
and-
vanilla that showed up when we were recording the last time.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh
The
yeah.
vanilla
right,
showed
yes,
up. It
yes,
was coming
in the
in that
closet.
day, but it was but we
Correct,
we weren't
yes.
allowed to know what was going on. It was top secret.
Yes.
Right,
Next time you
yeah.
guys need it, let me know. I know all about the black market vanilla bean.
Oh,
Nice.
really?
No, not at all.
All right.
Completely lying to you.
Man, don't tease. That, and then it has cacao nibs in it as well.
It has cocoa nibs. It
Yeah.
has coconut. It has the Ugandan vanilla beans. And it's funny, they differ, the vanilla beans. They really are quite different. I guess like anything else that's grown, it differs from the climate. The Ugandan vanilla beans have like a leather tobacco kind of vanilla flavor, whereas the Madagascar was a little more straight vanilla with less of like the Ugandans have this more dimensions. I mean, people really like the Madagascar, but I'll be honest, I think there was a better choice with the Ugandan stuff. It was kind of by necessity, but it really worked out. It sort of went with the flavors of the beer, with the barrel and all that stuff, and it's just nice beer.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
yeah.
it was Stretch's idea and Sarah's influence, and I helped execute it. So it was a nice collective effort.
Did you do anything with
See what you did
the
there, I like
cocoa nibs, or did they just went in?
Straight in,
Straight up,
yeah,
yeah.
straight in. In the I think in the barrel. What did we do with those? In the secondary. No, secondary. In the secondary, we did the cocoa nibs straight up. Nothing in the boil. Nothing like that.
Well, I was just curious. I know sometimes like people will roast them ahead of time, so I was
Yeah, we put them in
just
as we
curious
got
if
them.
that-
Yeah.
This was really our first attempt at a barrel-aged imperial, so I'm really happy with it, actually.
Oh yeah, it's delicious.
Thank you. Yeah, it's really nice, and as it comes with the temperature, it's like almost a completely new beer. Like you're
Yeah.
getting
Yeah,
so
it's
many of
good.
the different notes, and I mean, it's 9%, so I mean, it packs a punch, but it has this special quality that if you drink enough Duke, I mean, whoa, like you're gonna have problems. Like sometimes people come in, they lead with the Duke, and they'll do like 2 Dukes. I'm like, you sure you want to do a 3rd Duke? Because that might be good night, and we'd like for you to hang out a little longer.
I'm particularly
I don't want to have to drag you
the-
off the floor.
The
Yeah.
booze isn't overwhelming.
No.
You taste it a little bit, but it doesn't taste like you're chasing a shot.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen with the
As it comes with the temperature, you get a bit more of the bourbon.
Bourbon's
but
a little,
still,
yeah.
it's not overwhelming though. Like that's certainly.
No, but there is also like the pleasant warmth.
Definitely.
So
on the chest.
it's been a
cold winter. It's very helpful to keep us warm.
Absolutely.
Especially with the ones we lost.
We started.
But yeah, no, it's been about a month and a half in the barrel. I wanted to go longer, but we moved brewery, so I had to get the freaking barrels out of the
I hate it
way.
when that happens.
So I transferred that a little early.
Plan-wise a little early. I think it came out pretty good, though. I think it has a nice level of barrel, an oak character to it. And you know, and bourbon's there, but it's not super crazy. I don't really like a lot of bourbon barrel stouts.
No one's perfect. It's okay.
And I really like this. I like a few, like KBS. I really enjoy, but it can't be super bourbon. Or I'm like, I don't like liquor that much. That's not a fan of that. So when it has that liquor stink and that aftertaste,
Right.
just, gross.
Yeah, and then we're going to be, this is one of the beers that we're going to bring to Tap New York this year. We're going to
Yeah.
actually, first year we're doing, it's been a long time bucket list item
Yeah.
to go. I've never even been as a spectator. Timmy went a couple of years ago. I don't know if he remembers much of it, but
We were talking about
we
that a
heard
little
all
bit
about
That was a rough day.
earlier, yeah.
yeah,
was a
no,
rough day.
I'm
Apparently
looking
there
forward
was
to that.
Imperial Stouts opened at 9 in the morning.
9 in the morning on the
and-
bus ride
gosh.
up.
Bus ride.
That's
and
our-
that was
Okay.
the end of the memories.
Jackie Brandy started the day off right.
Yeah, she did.
She did. No, it's
Cracking
all
up, I'm like, what
Jackie's
is
fault.
this? Oh man, I was so
Yes.
irresponsibly drunk that
And the
day.
Hans as well.
The
and-
Hans, yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're bringing that and a few other things. I think the masses need to try Duke. New York State will love.
Yeah.
Did you happen to tell us how you came up with that name? Is that just a
Yeah, the Duke is actually it's from the history of bourbon. The Duke of Bourbon,
Yeah.
Was the creator of bourbon. He was a little
It's
bit
his
of
namesake. Yeah,
his
Stretch came up with this one. It's the
Yeah.
Duke of Bourbon, and it's like a little history lesson that he went into, and it's the Duke of Bourbon.
Like it changed hands. I think that family, the Bourbon family, like they didn't have any heirs, so I think eventually the name changed to like some of the
Oh, shit, you know
names
more
that
than I do.
I do. Well, yeah, I listen. But it was
Yeah, that Stretch Tim tunes you out.
That's right. No, yeah, and it just has to. It's a nod to the history of bourbon. So the Duke. We actually, when we first put it on the board, we just called it Duke. And Mike reminded us. He goes, "No, it's the Duke."
Duke.
Thank you. So we made sure
not
to
forget
correct
the.
that. Yes,
the.
right. Yes,
It's important.
that's right. We're the Brewers Collective, not a Brewers Collective.
That's right.
It's absolutely delightful, though. I'm
Yeah,
glad.
Oh, I'm glad you guys like it. Yeah.
This is like my wheelhouse kind of beer. Like,
Yeah, this
oh,
is my happy
This is
place
hang out
all
and drink
day.
this beer.
Yes,
yeah.
and I do. It's a sipper,
Yep.
But
Sure is.
as you're done already.
I don't know.
Big sips.
I don't know how to do sipping.
No,
I
me
don't.
neither.
That's why I can't drink like a bourbon or anything like that because I just can't. I'm not capable of it. If I like how it tastes, I just want it in my mouth faster.
I'm the exact same way. I mean, I don't do liquor because I don't chug, but I drink fast and a lot.
Right.
So it's as you can tell, a lot of the beers I make are around the 5s because I don't want to get too hammered. So a lot of the stuff it's sessionable, if you will.
That's why I started brewing a lot of Kolsch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. No, carry on.
You go right ahead.
I was going to say, you told us kind of about the history of what the last year was going on with the building itself and the moving, and it was kind of serendipitous that you were able to get that expansion in and not have to actually really change location at all.
Yeah, right.
But tell us a little bit about some of the beers that you've brewed over the past year. I know you guys really do a lot. We talked about how nimble you can be and make all those different beers. So what are some of the highlight beers that you've done in the past year that maybe we missed at the last trip, but have seen over the course of the year?
Let me think about that. Yeah, a lot of stuff. It's we try to do new beer every week, so it's and we do
Every
repeats.
week?
We try
That's
to.
awesome.
We try, and oftentimes we do, but most of the time we do get that. And it's a lot of times it's stuff we brewed before. It's not always something brand new. But I've been dialing in things like the New England style IPA is something I'm dialing in on, and I'm getting there. Coercion was a great one. That was our first attempt at that. That was a big
dry hopped.
quadruple dry hop, not double.
Wow.
That was another
What was that one with? What?
another stretch creation. That was with Pacifica Pacific Gem. What the fuck is it called? I don't know.
You would have a better idea than I.
There is a long list of hops. I think you put Bavaria in there. I had to look at the brew sheet. It was a while ago, and a lot of beers since. But it was it was dry hop with 4 different things. It was insane. That was a fun one. It had this flavor of I liken it to opium, which is like a fucked up thing to say.
I'm gonna say I don't know what that one tastes like.
I don't know the
it's-
last time
it's-
Does that
it's
taste
got this,
anything like a poppy bagel?
It's like jasmine. It was weird. It was very in a good way. It was like, what is this smell? And that was a big 8%er that we made. That was fun. the Gruits we did a collab with Paul from Brick House. We did we called it Pick Dish. We named it differently because he wanted whatever.
Yes,
but
I had it at Brick House.
What was it?
Yeah, it was but Heather's coming something. He named it something.
Yes.
So we did Heather Gruit.
Joke, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, we did loot last year with a bunch of homegrown ingredients. I had a giant lemon balm bush in my garden I used for that.
And loot's coming back this year, right?
Loot's, it's fermenting
Yeah,
right
we
now.
just brewed
Excellent.
Loot, actually. Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one we're bringing to Tap New York because
Nice.
it's such a fun beer.
Yeah.
You know, but then also we made Hazy Worker, which was a big hit.
We did.
Yeah, another,
We did.
New England style IPA.
Yeah, Hazy Worker is a variation on Proletariat, which is a nice pale ale with.
Which is another beer we made, Proletariat. I don't know if you
We
guys
had
Yeah, we
We had the
Proletariat.
Proletariat last time, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was good. And then you gave us a hazy IPA before. Which one was that?
That's Nom de Guerre.
Nom
Nom
de
de
Guerre.
Guerre.
Yeah,
That's
well, right now I
nice
put you
one.
guys a
okay, there it
Pilsner,
is.
which is it's a hoppy Pilsner that we created. We'll talk about that one a little bit first, and then we'll do Gnome after that.
Yeah, the Kilsner is really good.
Is that nice? It's such
Yeah.
refreshing, nice fruit notes to it, beautiful clarity. And that
And
one.
what I like about it, like it definitely has more hop character than most Pilsners, but it's not quite the IPL that like a lot of brewers are making right now. That just gets so dank that like it
Yeah.
kind of ruins the crispness of a Pilsner for me.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
you get none of the malt quality that you normally get with a lager style.
Well, yeah, but like the whole crisp finish is just lost because you got a dank bite from the high bitterness, and I just I'm just
This one was like a long time coming. I didn't like it for the longest time. I thought the hops were just too bad. She's elbowing me like, don't say this. I didn't. I'll be honest.
It's a work in progress.
It was.
You should
just needed time.
Well, an
Needed
artist
time.
is never happy with his work.
Yeah, fair enough. But it was it's lagers are lagers for a reason. You have to fucking store them and let them sit and kind of come into their own. I like it now.
I'm liking it. This is
Mellowed out beautifully. Yeah, it was good.
It did. We tried to go with more floral sort of hops for it as an experiment to see what it would come out like. And that quality has sort of balanced with the lager as it aged, which is was pleasant. I'm used to ales, right? Ales are fast turnaround time,
Right,
and
right.
you can taste it. It's fast. You're like, this is going to be good. Give it another week. It's like done. You don't have to wait months. This was months and months, like it's supposed to be, and it came out pretty good.
Yeah,
This,
we would
this feels like
taste it,
festival
once a
beer to
week
me.
until
Like
we
I
were
need
happy with it.
I need a
Right.
like a sausage sandwich right now.
Right,
Like,
right,
hang out
right.
a pint of this and have a big sandwich with it. Like I'm good to go.
You don't feel
Yeah.
comfortable that you're later hosing.
What?
The clarity
Oh, no,
on it is
no.
great too.
Yeah, it's all non-filtered. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's nice. They drop out clear, especially if you age them long enough. They certainly drop out clear.
Well, it was funny. Like last year, we always got the question, like, "Do you filter your beer?" We're like, no, we let it like while we were in construction, everything sort of just sat and like was beautifully
Yeah,
stored.
yeah.
So everything sort of dropped out. It was this wonderful clarity with having to do nothing to it.
Our house
so.
uses English ale yeast, which was a good flocculator too, so it really drops
Yeah.
pretty clear.
Yeah, I love when I do a starter of it, and you see it like it's like a sheet in the
Yeah.
thing, like connected, just like a sail in the wind.
Yep, it is. It is, but it's the clarity. And it's funny. It's using that same English ale yeast, trying to get a hazy sort of beer going. It's all about the dry hopping timing, but sometimes they drop clear. On my journey to learn that style, I've had some really nice aromatic IPAs they started out really cloudy, and then they just become clear after
Yeah,
like 4
it's
weeks.
just a time thing. Yeah,
It is. It's sitting. I don't do any of the adding flour. I think that doesn't seem right to me to haze it up. So you have a lot of flake and timing on that. But yeah, the house yeast is pretty damn good at dropping clear. Some people don't know how. It's not filtered.
Out of curiosity, with the house yeast, how many runs do you do on the house yeast before you refresh it?
4 or 5.
Yeah.
It's dry. We use Nottingham Dry, so it's not
Okay.
it's not very expensive. So
Yeah.
it's back when we were at our incubator. I don't know if I mentioned this last time we chatted last year, but we used to just use fresh stuff every time because it's cheap enough where you kind of can. I usually do 3-4 runs at least. If we remember to pull the yeast out before we dry hop it, it goes a little
Right.
longer. If we don't, then
Right.
we don't. But yeah, a lot of experimentation with different yeast styles, especially doing this hazy kind of stuff. Doing, you read a lot. There's a lot of not misinformation, but a lot of like speculation on what causes the haze, and really is just the dry hopping at the right time, from what I understand.
They call it the biotransformation.
Biotransformation, yeah. And there's a lot of science behind it. But we've tried Vermont ale yeast, we've tried all kinds of different stuff. But it's
I don't know.
English.
Do you happen to see that The Brewers Association released new GABF guidelines now that
Nice.
have like categories for the hazy IPA,
hazy,
the hazy pale ale, the
I
hazy
mean,
double
it's
IPA.
appropriate.
Yeah.
People certainly like it. A lot of places are making it. A lot of places are.
Oh,
making
yeah.
it, so, it's appropriate. It's good. It's good.
I'm starting to get into it a little bit more, especially with I guess the more floral, fruity hops. And I know that when we were here last time, I had never heard of Rakow hops ever,
Yeah.
and that was one of the ones we had. I know it's one of the things you guys do a lot is New Zealand
yeah.
hops.
Oh yeah, it was. We kind of got it on a whim way back when we were in Farmingdale. Jason picked up an order. We got it from Australia through England, and then to us. It was this weird supply chain.
I remember talking about that last year.
Yeah, but it's a nice hop. It's very different. Everything from New Zealand has like a tropical fruit characteristic. Not everything, but the hops I've tried
A lot
in
of
New
them,
Zealand
yeah. Like
have
Nelson
this
is known for that.
very tropical. It's nice. Rakow, with the first batch we got, was like bubblegum in like a good way, like not like a weird way, but like a fruity kind of bubblegum hop aroma to it. So we ran with that. We ran a bunch of hop beers with that. We got this hop called Waiti, which is another New Zealand hop. Made a beer with that. It was a nice session pale, nice and clear, and just full of that nice like tropical aroma. Got a lot of leaf hops back there still. So I don't know. We're brewing a bunch of different stuff all year.
Now we're having the Sarah poured us the Nom de Gar, which is I said that very poorly, I know.
Nom de guerre.
Nom de
you go.
Guerre. Thank you very much.
Say it like you are the French.
Say it right, Frenchie.
Nom de guerre.
I had to channel my inner fencing director for a second.
That's right.
But Idaho 7, I know, is it's not a New Zealand hop, but it's one
Right.
that's trying to imitate that
Right.
character. So
Right.
that's obviously
Yeah,
something
and-
that's similar, that's very prevalent in this beer.
Fire Island
Oh, yeah.
uses that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
We've
nice hop.
learned.
We got hop hash for the listeners who are not familiar. It's when they pelletize the hops. It's literally the gunk that accumulates on the rollers, from what I understand, and they scrape it and they put it into a bag for you and shrink wrap it.
It sounds
And
like
it's,
somebody was like, "How do we get more
delicious.
profit
Yeah, right.
out of this harvest?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's scrape this crap off of here and see what happens."
And it is for
Somebody will buy
as sort of shitty as that sounds. It's nice. It's a cool product. It's very high alpha. You use about a third of it that you would in whole hops or in pellets by weight, about a third. And Nom de Guerre is Amarillo, Mandarina, Bavaria, New York State Cascade, and Idaho 7 dry hop. And it's nice. It's got that hazy character. It's a session. Again, like I said before, I like to make them low because I drink way too fast, and I don't like to drink 8% all day long. It's a different kind
It's
of day
never
that
a
I'm
good
not really
idea.
looking
Except
for.
when you're at Tapped.
Yeah, well,
Well, this is the first thing that you poured for me when I came
Yeah,
in. About like 11:30 or so, and it was
Yeah.
like perfect. I'm like, ooh, it's orange juice. Like, I can drink this. Let's go. Like,
I know you've
like
been getting into
I've
New England
been
IPAs.
digging on the IPAs that have that really juicy and that floral thing, and like, hey, it doesn't make me want to turn my mouth inside out, to scrape off that pine resin and
Yeah, I mean, you
Or the
get the
bite.
hop flavor without the bitterness
Right.
in this style of beer. And
Yeah.
it-
And
I find them much more enjoyable.
yeah,
it's really
yeah.
been. And if it has that citrus flavor, you showed us that giant bag of Citra that you got hanging out there.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yes.
if it's got the citrus flavors in general, like, I've been really behind it recently.
Yeah, it's a nice style. We have a friend of ours who's he's a coworker of mine, and he's not an IPA fan. And I like to. He actually really just likes dark beers, and so I like to give him things to sort of change his opinion. He was here last night. I gave him one of these. He's like, I don't understand. Like, what? Why is it so good? I hate IPAs, and it's just the style. The style is good like that. You get that nice
Right.
sort of soft hoppiness. It's very hoppy but not bitter.
As our friend Paul from Brickhouse would say, flipping pallets.
Yeah, flipping pallets.
Flipping
That's right.
pallets all day.
That's right.
Yep.
flipping pallets
At the
all
end
day.
of the day.
I love that expression. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually is the perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, when you're picking hops to dry hop a beer with, especially like obviously a hazy IPA, I mean, are you trying to find all, like, say you do a triple dry hop, all three are sort of similar or a progression, or do you want to have any contrast?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it depends on what you're going after, but yeah, usually it's more like than not. And this goes all the way back to our old beer, Useful Idiot, which we still brew on occasion. It was supposed to be our flagship when we first started, but
Yeah, I remember that from
years ago. But it was you look at the descriptor. I mean, without having the hops in hand, the best you can do is read what the manufacturer says they taste
Right.
or smell like, and then go from there. But yeah, I mean, for aroma hops, in general, you want it to be aroma hops for dry hop, obviously, or late additions. And you try to line up those characteristics and see, again, it's just now that we have experience with a bunch of them, that's one thing. But especially the new breeds and the new strains, you don't really know what they're going to be like. You get weird shit from New Zealand, like this Waiti or Rakau, and you're like, you have to kind of trust what they say. But yeah, you go towards a sort of a coherent. Like you don't want to mix like pine resin with like fruity bubblegum. Like that would just be weird. I think it would be anyway. So you try to go. Is it floral? Is it citrus? Is it earthy? Is it piney, grapefruity, et cetera? You sort of in your mind
make sure at least one of the descriptors matches up. Between the
right. And I mean, the hop descriptors are often very generous. Like they don't really. They're hops. So
this thing has everything.
Yeah, right.
Have you ever done got a new hop and said we're going to do like a really small smash beer run just to figure out what the heck this is?
Absolutely. Yeah, Rakau was one of those. Styrian Cardinal. We made a beer called Zizek, named after
what was that variety?
What's that?
What was the hop variety?
Styrian Cardinal.
I have not heard.
I've
of
heard of Styrian Goldings, but
Styrian Golding. Yeah, that's it. I was like, what is Styrian Cardinal? And it's grown in Slovenia.
Of course it is.
We named the Zizek after my favorite philosopher. We'll call him a philosopher.
Yes.
And he is. And it was nice. It was almost all. You had to do New York State, so it was New York State there. But the Styrian Cardinal was the main one there. Yeah, you make the style to try it. Nice pale ale. It was very, very good. Very
Zizek
good.
was incredibly popular. We did this. What was it for? It was in downtown Patchogue. They actually shut it down. It was for a non-for-profit.
Oh, you did it. I forget. I know what you're talking about.
I can't believe I can't think of the name of it right now.
Oh, they're going to hate you if they listen to this.
Oh, I know.
In Patchogue?
In Patchogue, yeah. It was right by that arts building.
Right.
It was for, it was for this small organization that goes into schools and communities and teaches them how to grow sustainable Long Island crops and herbs and stuff. It's a wonderful cause, really good people, and they did this fantastic beer dinner where they showcased all local Long Island breweries.
Oh,
yeah, and
yes.
it matched with the Long Island ingredients. I'm trying to think of.
Yeah, they had that at the New Village, right?
Yes, at the New Village, exactly.
I remember what you're talking about. I don't remember what it was called.
Go get your Google food.
I'm looking at it right. I'm looking back in time right now to find it. But that was absolutely incredible. It was so fancy, and they had a.
Yes, it was on. You were on Terry Street.
I'm the only one that has no idea what's going on.
No. One of my former coworkers is on the Patrick Chamber of Commerce, and she actually was at the event.
Island to Table.
Island to Table. That's it. Yeah.
Yes, the great people at Island to Table.
That was right behind my office.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, no, it was such a trip to be right in the middle of the street in this beautiful, long tables and everything, and it was this 5-course dinner. It was all local chefs using local ingredients paired with local beer and wine, because you had your choice between beer and wine. It wasn't all beer people in the house, but Zizek was the third
we won't
course.
Against them.
And it went over so well. What I didn't know was, because we did the happy hour. They had tapped us to do the happy hour, and then another brewery had dropped out. And they're like, do you have a nice pale ale that would pair well with, I think it was a fish or a very light meat? I'm like, well, I do. I have this
I just happen to have one. Why not?
Yeah. So we brought the Zizek. And what I didn't know was that each brewer had to come up and talk about the beer.
Oh, yeah.
So I already had drank at happy hour, and I'm a couple courses
through. You thought you were done for the night.
I thought I was done for the night, and then I get a little tap on the shoulder like, "Hey, Sal, you wanna go up there?"
Tell me how to speak about it.
So yes, I was lots of smiling because I over smile when I've had a few. No, but it was just so cool, and it's so. We're such foodies too. Besides being brewers, we love to see the different pairings between food and beer. Tim's rubbing his tummy. Yes.
No, my wife and I went to Hawaii with our daughter at the end of. It was just right before my daughter turned 2, so a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. But
you guys are brave.
Yes, I mean it worked out well, but when we were in Hawaii, we're like, all right, we're going to the Korean barbecue place, we're going to the hot pot place.
That's right.
Of course,
right.
dude. You had to have sushi too, I hope.
No, but we did go
Hawaiian sushi, is that a thing?
Well, they're right by the ocean, no? I mean,
we did go.
It's a thing, yeah.
We did go to a local place, and my wife had a poke bowl, and I had a local
there you
moco.
go. That's fine.
I was happy.
That counts.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
Is Locomoco the one with the rice and the spam?
Hamburger, but yes.
Okay.
Rice, a hamburger,
I thought everything in Hawaii
brown
had spam in
gravy,
it.
and a fried egg.
Nice.
Most things. You can get loco mocos with spam,
Okay.
but
I thought that was like the thing, like when they make locomoco, it's with spam.
no. I mean, I didn't. Honestly, all the places that I was in, I never saw it like with spam. It was always a hamburger.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree that like beer pairs with food almost better than wine.
Oh,
pairs
yes,
with food,
I
because
definitely-
there's that spectrum of anything really. I mean, and we've done a few pairings now. We did a beer and cheese pairing here. I think it was over the summer with these wonderful girls at Slates and Plates. One of them is a legit cheesemonger from
Yes,
Murray's Cheese
we,
in
Nice.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
She came and no, that was Harbor Cheese and
That was
Bourbon.
Harbor Cheese, yes.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Different people, but yes.
Different people. Yeah, no, I love. I
And
love
we did the one
pairings
with
overall.
And
the guys
yes,
from Say
Chris
Cheese.
from Say Cheese.
and
Yes.
Port
Yes,
Chef.
we had him on the podcast. That,
That
was
was
a lot
cool.
of fun.
He-
Oh, excellent.
That was really cool.
He
that
brought cheese for you
some-
guys.
Oh,
He brought
yes.
cheese and beer.
Cheese and beer to pair with
That's
it.
a good
Yeah.
man right there. Nice.
He had Evil Twin, even more Jesus. Oh my God.
And
What
was,
did he pair?
what was
remember
the
what cheese it went with?
Roquefort.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was the light beer that he had? It was like a
Oh,
That was the Westbrook Goza.
yeah, the Westbrook Goza. That turned us onto that turned me onto that, and I was like, this is a great beer.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was another one he had from a Brooklyn brewery. I can't remember. It was a Pilsner.
I don't remember.
We'll have to
Fleet, something like that.
Fleet.
Fleet.
That's
Yes.
the one. That's the
Fleet.
one I'm
yeah,
thinking of. the
VLIET.
Fleet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that beer. That's a good beer.
Yeah, that is good.
No, but it was amazing, like seeing, especially with, because like we got to go over the concept of the pairing. So like we came in, we had the girls come in that do the Slates and Plates, and they tasted all the beers, and we talked about the drinking notes and the different notes that come out in each beer. We picked like 4 or 5 beers, and then they expertly paired it with not just cheese, but an overall bite. So like we did, for instance, the one I remember because it was my favorite. So Loot paired beautifully with, it was like a shortbread cookie with a brie on it, and then a little bit of like a spicy jam. My God, like
I'm
it brought
in.
out
I'm in
all
on
the
that.
notes of the
I'm
beer
in
at
on
the
that.
same time. Yeah, I can't wait to do it.
That's
do
really
another one.
interesting. I've only done it with the cheese itself. I've never done it with like you said, like maybe I'm sure maybe one that had honey on it or something like
Yes.
that. Oh
let's
my
be
God,
let's be
yeah.
fancy. A little amuse bouche.
Oh, who's Bush? Yes,
There you
yes,
go.
yes.
Get my fancy food
little
TV.
whet the
talk
appetite.
on.
Yeah. So now we're waiting for. Oh, yeah, here's Tim coming back. He had to break the seal.
It's all gonna go downhill now.
Yeah.
I mean,
The episode has
I,
just peaked everyone. I'm just kidding.
I had to use the bathroom before we even started because I
We do
I
like
gotta
to
have my
feed you guys
coffee in the
beers.
morning.
Coffee
Oh yeah,
and a lot
well
of
yeah,
beer.
a lot of coffee.
Yeah. So I know we were talking about Raquel hops. I noticed
Yeah.
when I brought it up, you immediately got up and poured us the
Starry Plow.
Starry
yes.
Plow,
So
which is
yeah,
It's,
of course.
it's really nice. I like it a
Thank
lot.
you. Yeah, the Raquel like really adds a magical element to this beer. You get like the stone fruit and all the good notes. But Timmy can talk a little bit more.
Yeah, it's very fruity in the flavor.
It's
It is,
fruity, and
that's
I
it.
also
This
for
is
a
apple
pale ale,
juice.
for a
You're
pale
lying.
ale
This is apple juice.
for a pale ale. There's a pretty solid malt character to it.
Yeah. A lot of New York State malt in there. That industry has really grown quite a bit, and they've really come into their own, which is good because we have to use it. So
Yes.
it helps.
Starting next year, we go to 60%.
Right.
Yeah. So it's they definitely have gotten their stuff together, and the malts are really nice. It's a lot of again we were low on malts. I used a lot more New York State malt in that one than I normally do. But it's nice, and the Raquel is it's a good hop. It's just tasty. I like it. I like it a lot. It's giving you those nice, like you said, the tropical, the juicy sort of ness to it. Nice little beer though. That's another variation on Proletariat. We like to take Proletariat and then work it around.
No, you
it's,
had
it's
a
a nice taste.
You know, you
Nothing wrong
started
with
with
that.
a good formula, so there's no reason why not to build off of that.
Right.
You know, a solid
Right.
foundation builds
Right.
all sorts of good things.
Exactly. And then in times of need, when there's not enough ingredients, you just make a variation and pretend like you meant it.
So, you mentioned that that you're moving up to the 60% mark for New York. Does it have to be? I don't know if you know this or not. Does it have to be grain that's grown in New York, or does it just have to be malted in New York?
I believe it's grown, at least grown. I
Okay.
think you can grow it and then malt it elsewhere. I think.
Okay.
The stuff we get is both, so it's,
Oh,
it's
that's even
they grow
better,
and
I
then
mean,
malted in New York.
but I
State.
wasn't
Do you know
sure.
something different? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I only know because we recently.
She's giving you that look of like,
I missed
of
that meeting.
I was
dumbass
at the-
husband.
yeah.
I got this one. Come on, I know this answer.
Yeah. No,
I get that
there's-
look
I
a
mean,
lot.
there's just not enough acreage to grow all the malts that are needed for all
Yeah,
the
I
New
would
York State
figure
farm
as
breweries.
much.
So
Right.
as long as it's actually malted in New York State by a New York State malt
Maltster.
house,
Yeah.
it counts towards it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the opposite of what Timmy just said.
That was kind of
but-
my thought process of
Yeah.
like, I know New York
Glad you're
State is
enjoying it.
pretty much like finished with like how things are laid out. Like
Right.
there's not really new room to be making, growing grain or anything
Well,
like that.
I mean, true, but we did. Yeah, well, exactly. But what they needed was a big hub operation to malt a bunch. So there's actually a huge malt house now. That's I think it's called 1886 malt house.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
have
I haven't
big
heard of that
financing
one.
behind them. Yeah.
Oh,
they,
wow.
Owned by Getty.
Where are they
yeah.
out of?
They're upstate, I think,
They
in the Hudson Valley region,
Okay.
I believe. Nice guys. We actually they were at our guild meeting. But yeah, like they're kind of leading the way.
Cool.
Really high quality malted. All the malts, and we needed that because there are a ton of farm breweries now. And then and as of now, the law is written. Come January 1st, 2019, all farm brewers are to use 60% of
Right,
both
right,
hops
and,
and malt.
I don't remember how, like in a few years after that, then
90%.
it steps up again, right?
It sure does, yeah.
Oh, it
So-
goes to from 60 to
90%,
90.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was the end
it's
game
a
of
really
the farm brewer
steep,
license, yeah.
It's a jump.
Incline.
Fully, a lot, yeah. And we'll see what happens. There are definitely concerns price-wise, quality-wise, but the quality has so exponentially gotten better even in a year. The farmers are so super committed to putting out outstanding hops and malts and all that, and it's what it set out to do was to revitalize the craft beer industry in New York, and it's done just that.
Oh, yeah,
whether or
'cause
not, yeah.
Back in like the 1800s, like New York was
that was
like
it, yeah.
the hop
Well,
producing
and-
region.
The hopper,
That's
exactly.
correct, yeah. And we've just, from what I understand, exceeded that mark of how many local breweries there were from like the late 1800s, 1900s. We're now finally back at that number, and we've actually surpassed it. In New York.
In the state
In
itself?
state, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so beer's back in a very big way. Everyone talks about this craft beer bubble. It's complete bullshit. It doesn't even apply to New York at all. Like, we are not done yet. Like, we have many years of growth left before there's any kind of bubble. And the bubble, bubble in the sense that it's not like all of a sudden all the local craft brewers are going to go out of business. There might be a bit of a burst as far as how many new ones are coming on every year, but a lot of the local guys that are here, we're here to stay. Business is great. People, I think, in general, their attitudes have shifted toward wanting to consume more locally produced product.
Definitely,
yeah.
We're less of a homogenized society now. Not to say that big beer doesn't play a big role in what people consume, but it's less and less. And when we talk about the craft beer bubble, they're really talking about people drinking less big beer brands. People are drinking more craft than ever before, and they even talking about millennials, drinking old craft liquor.
I know, we're
and-
just
and,
ruining everything.
I know.
The paper napkin industry, you name it.
Avocados.
Oh, yeah.
Avocado toast for days.
I love my avocado toast.
As do I.
Avocado fries.
Yeah, sriracha and
I
everything
put off
but
buying
the
a
bagel
house for
seasoning
years
and
to do my
potatoes.
avocado toast hook,
Oh my God, it's the best. It's the best. It's the best.
I'm a big fan of sriracha mayo.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I know.
So wait a
and
second. Are you trying to say
sandwich.
we should make a sriracha mayo dip for our avocado toast?
Yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
Only if you can put, artisanal bacon on top of it.
Artisanal bacon, nitrate-free.
Oh,
Yes.
do I
Raised
even
by
need to say
cows that wore ribbons.
I didn't think I even need to say the nitrate free.
I know. It was
Cows. I
just
said
part
cows,
of
I
it.
meant pigs. Whoa, wrong animal. Oh well. That's the Duke.
That's the Duke
That
speaking.
is
Thanks,
Duke
dude.
speaking, yes.
Bacon comes from cows now.
If you enjoyed Beertastic Voyage, please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to review and rate us. The guys can be found online at www.beertasticvoyage.com, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/beertasticvoyage, and Twitter and Instagram at Beertastic Show, or send them a good old-fashioned email at beertasticvoyage@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers for local beers.